find it. There we go.
Okay. Okay, title. Katana Zero. Where did you play it? I played it on Steam on a PC. I used a controller though when I played it. I used an old Xbox 360 controller. I
Would
really
highly
think
recommend
this
a
game.
controller.
Yeah, I really think this game works well with controller. It's available for a variety of things. I think it just came out for Switch this year actually, which is pretty exciting because it's a pretty incredible game. It took 6 years to make. I looked this up actually. It was made with Game Maker, and I think it was $20 on. It was $14.99. I'm sorry. Okay. So what did I like about this game? Well, there's a lot actually. I think the story was pretty cool. It pulls you in pretty quickly. Kind of reminded me a little bit of that one game, Doki Doki Literature Club. Not exactly entirely.
Okay, I'm back. I know exactly what you mean by that, though, actually, Colin, and how like it's just so wild and off the wall. You're just like,
Yeah.
whoa, like very
things happen
Doki-ish.
that are like very like almost self-aware that it's a game, or that like kind of like that movie Memento as well, a little bit.
Yeah, dude. The one scene when you're strapped in the chair and you're like figuring out.
Yeah, like
I don't
what
want to
to
spoil
say.
too much, but
That's
like you
right.
figure
that
out what to
scene is
say.
amazing. I
That
know
scene is
exactly what it was.
incredible.
Yeah.
Certain scenes in that game,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but
Yeah.
this is Colin's time.
And back to me. So like that was pretty cool just to see like how it plays out a game that's seems linear, but it's very much like out of order in the way it tells its story.
Yeah, very
Mhm.
much out of order. Like, who the fuck knows when you're playing? Like,
I mean,
it's
even on
crazy.
top of the story though, which was incredible and fun, the gameplay was really fun. It's really
Insane.
chill. It ends pretty early. I was
Chill, you
surprised
would
how short
say?
it was. What?
You would say the gameplay's chill?
It was so intense for me. Holy
No,
Yeah.
shit.
it ends pretty early, is what I said.
Oh, like the story, you mean?
Yeah, like it just kind of ends really quickly. No, the game
So
was
it's
not
a short
chill.
game. It's a 6-hour game,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on
yeah.
average. But like I get what Colin's saying, but honestly, that I without spoil, I'm really trying not to spoil anything for the crowd here because we want them to play this game too. And it is a short game, so it's easy for you guys to play.
Mhm.
Also, how much did it cost you, by the way?
Here I said
$14.99.
15
It was
bucks.
14.
Yep.
Okay, I missed that part. Okay, but so that's not too bad. I'm sure it's less on G2A if you really want. Okay, the ending is mind blowing.
Yeah.
The ending is mind blowing in my opinion. Colin, you sure you got it?
Well, let me put like kind of like
it wasn't easy. Someone had to
give you
help me too.
perspective for the ending, without giving the ending away. This game kind of takes place in like a cyberpunk world, and I think that the story and ending of the story is meant to be kind of ambiguous, like
Yes.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So
It is
you're
it's
supposed
be
to
a
kind of
little-
have the same feeling at the end that you have, like, is Deckard Cain a freaking robot or not? Like, do we know? You
No,
know?
totally. That
Yeah.
last moment, you're like, what? Like you see that you were there. Okay. Well, okay. I don't want to spoil anything, but like you're aware of what has happened, but you're still like unsure at the moment. You're like, what?
Mhm.
Like, it's like it is supposed to be that reaction. Kind of if anyone's ever beaten BioShock Infinite, the very last scene, and you're just like, has anyone beaten that game? Come on.
I've never played it.
What?
I'm sorry.
Colin.
What game?
BioShock Infinite, the third one.
I played a little bit of it. It was
Okay, well, the ending is insane. Like the whole
the
time.
ending is cool. It's clever.
I'm not trying to spoil anything on this one either, but this game has been out for quite a while, 6 years or 7 years now. So go fuck yourselves. Basically, I'm just going to kind of give this one away actually because it's been so long.
Here we go.
So you can log off if you haven't. But for this one, because it's not the same as Katana, but it's cool. So for this one, you basically are looking for this character the whole time. You're like trying to figure out who this guy is and like. But he's not like just that, but like you're like, what the fuck? This guy's a crazy asshole, whatever. Okay, in the end, you find out like he's you, like you're him, like in a different like timeline. And then the girl who was with you the whole time, all of her timelines come out and like baptize you, which is like how this whole story started, and drown you to death. And all of your basically timelines die.
Wow.
Like it's really insane. And when it happens, you're like I'm the main bad guy. Not only that, like the good guy just like killed me. Like I was the bad guy the whole time. And this is how my story starts.
All
like,
right.
kind of thing. So
All right.
never played that.
I'm
But that's
gonna
I love that kind of shit.
let Colin get back into his review. We've cut him off quite a bit.
Let's
Let's hear it.
What didn't you like about the game?
2 sodas.
I didn't like the nebulous story. I can't seem to find anything about it. Like, no one seems to have an answer on this. No one says like, "Oh, this is the definitive like answer to this.
Mm-hmm.
Which people like that. Some people enjoy that, but I like a little more information because
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't finish The
there were some
Sopranos?
characters that were just like I don't know, like comedy and tragedy. I think it was, and the
Mm-hmm.
little
Dark
girl.
comedy.
It seems like they were real characters, but then it's like, well, it could have also been he was on drugs. So there was just a little bit of ambiguity there.
So
To your point,
it is supposed to feel real though. Was supposed to feel like emotional also. I
Mm-hmm.
thought.
yeah,
Like it wasn't supposed to be like, was that a joke? Like some of it was supposed to be intense, I thought.
right. No, I get that. This is just my grievances against the game
Okay,
personally. Like
okay.
some people actually like this, and some people are like, "Oh, that was perfect," and I love that it's so ambiguous. And I understand it, and like that's fine. I just that's something I didn't like about the game, which is like the end was like kind of felt like not a cop out. And like I get like it was a twist ending, it was a clever ending, it was really fun, and it was like a big moment of like aha, and I liked that. But it was just like I think they're about DLC though. So I
The
wonder if the
DLC is
story
coming out. It's gonna
for
be
free
yeah.
too. So the
Mm-hmm.
developers
Oh,
decided,
really?
There's a vault they put
yeah.
in the first one that you can't get in. So it's like there's no way to get into it. So like the thought is the DLC is the second half of the game, and like you
Gotcha.
just keep going. Yeah,
So it's
Interesting.
like
open-ended.
you walk into this like room and
Yeah.
like you can't go
So
any further.
maybe
You're
that's
like
what's going
what?
on is
Yeah.
that it's just, you know,
Maybe it's not fit. Maybe that literally
So
is like only the first half of the answer, and you're like what?
right. So
I
maybe
think
that
so too. Yeah, for sure.
and
Yeah,
maybe
that'd be
that's
really cool
and that to me and
actually.
the other thing is, does it have I didn't see this. Like a level editor or something like that, or like a mod loader or something like that, because that'd be kind of cool to have that.
That would be
That
sick.
would be
Yeah,
cool. I don't
so
think
I'm
it
Oh my
has
surprised
god,
that.
I would
that's
love to do
not there's
level
no
requests
support
for
for that.
that.
That seems like
There's like a
moment.
challenge mode, I think.
I mean,
Or
they don't
like,
have that for Celeste, do they? It's like the same kind of game, in my opinion.
hmm,
I don't think that
I don't know.
Warp
hmm.
World thing. I would do level requests for Katana Zero if that was a thing. That'd be so sick.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I think once you beat it, there is like
Some kind
there's
of
the
thing.
lab, right, that you could go into, and is can't you do like
Yeah.
challenges and stuff there and like
I don't
replay
remember what it
certain
was
levels?
exactly
maybe.
though. I don't
Oh.
want to misspeak because I don't remember like what the challenges were. But I know what you're talking about. Like, I just like I think I'd attempted like a few and I was like, eh. Like I kind of the story was it for me, and I was like, okay, I'll wait till more DLC comes out.
Hmm.
I will definitely play if more story comes out. If it's
Hmm.
anything but story, I'll be like, eh.
So,
Right. So
Colin,
I don't know.
beyond the story, what else can you tell us about the game? Like, how was the art,
Well,
the
I'm just going
music,
through all.
sound?
Yeah, I'm just going through all these
Yeah, yeah.
templates basically. This is a good template. The
Nice.
art was really incredible. I really enjoyed it.
Incredible.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that was pretty cool because like it felt very retro but very modern. Like
Yeah.
very nicely like what's the word like polished. The game was just polished looking. You know, everything about it was just like pixel perfect. Like no
I
pixel was out of
agree.
place, and it felt really good.
Nice.
There
I
are a
love
few
that.
hiccups where I felt like it wasn't my fault or I didn't understand the game, but like I felt like other than that it wasn't a big deal. But yeah,
Little
the
That was
art
early
was
on,
Cupheady.
well.
though. Honestly, I watched your whole playthrough, and I was really impressed how quickly you picked up on the game. Like
Nice.
it became very instinctual for you. What like parts of the game that I really struggled with, you kind of just zipped through,
That's
you know.
Nice.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
We
like
got
I
the
was really impressed
Cuphead.
by that. Yeah.
Cuphead is
Yeah.
with him.
So that was yeah, I got it. That's cool to hear. So yeah, I thought the art stuff and the music was good too. It wasn't incredible. It wasn't like Hollow Miami good in
Some of
my
them were
opinion.
really, really incredible, but not all the
But
tracks were really, really
yeah,
incredible.
it wasn't as memorable as like Hollow Miami, but yeah, it was really
Hmm.
good though. It still like it fit perfectly for the game. Like it fit within the genre of the game. Like, in fact, they like turn on a little Walkman, you know, before you start a level.
Yeah,
It's
you
kind of
like
neat.
that?
Mhm.
So like that kind of ties into that sound design, which was just it was good. It wasn't anything like groundbreaking per
Yeah,
se, but I don't know if you'd want to do something crazy with the sound in a retro game like that, you know, like because it's
Right.
supposed to
yeah,
look and feel a certain way. So like if you mess with the sound too much, you probably break the immersion of what it's kind of going for because it knew what it
yeah.
was and stuck to that
Yeah.
throughout the entire all the different areas of the game. So I thought that was
That
pretty
was
cool. But like it
nice.
feels like a game that could have been made 20 years ago, you know,
Oh yeah,
like
oh
in
yeah,
terms of like I mean obviously the effects wouldn't be quite as good and like the way the reverse time wouldn't be quite as good, but like it really did feel like this game could be made 20 years ago, you know, on like or maybe even more than that. Was like
no, 20
40
years ago was
years?
2000.
No, I'm thinking like
40
30,
years
30,
ago.
yeah, 30 or 40 years ago on like on the SNES like that, you know, something like
How old
that.
were we?
40
Jesus
years ago?
Christ.
Are you kidding?
30, 30, 30, right?
30, yeah, that's the sweet spot. Yeah,
It kind
30,
of does
30.
it's got a SNES vibe to it.
That's what I was
I
thinking.
don't know if they could have pulled something like this off on the SNES.
Not like this quality probably.
Yeah.
Okay, 1990, so 30. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that I didn't. I know they couldn't. Like I know like there's a lot of things under the hood
Yeah.
that we're not seeing. That's like obviously they'd need a computer like to really run this well. But like the concept felt like really solid. Like
Yeah.
it was
I
like
get
one of
what
those
you're
games where it's
saying.
like if someone's like, "Oh, this came out this many years ago," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I totally believe that." If like I just saw it like on like first impressions. But like obviously the game's made much deeper than that. The art's way deeper than like anything
Oh
that could have been
yeah.
put out at the time, 30 years ago. But like
Mhm.
that's my point is that they just nailed that genre. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just like this is
Completely.
like playing something from 30 years ago
Oh
with
Yeah.
a
yeah.
modern twist on it.
It definitely had kind of like a shinobi kind of vibe to it.
Oh yeah.
One of the things about the game that really impressed me was how it's incredibly uh it's it's incredibly difficult and yet so
Mhm.
forgiving at the same time. It turns the game into almost less of an action game and more of a puzzle game, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to solve the level, not beat the level, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think
Yeah.
is genius. While still having like the aesthetic and the feel of like a crazy action movie while you're
Yeah.
playing it. You feel like John Wick with a samurai sword.
It's really cool because for me, it had like, so I always compare it to Celeste and how like you see a literally impossible room and you're like, there's no way. I'm not going to get, okay, let me try. Oh, got killed immediately. Well, I know how to kill that guy now. Okay, next guy. Oh, I should have done this instead. And you like gradually learn. And by the end of the room, you're like a fucking god. And you're like, how could I ever die in this room? I'm a fucking god. And then you go to the next room and it's like that much harder. And you're like,
Hmm.
what? And like you thought you were good at this game and then it just kicks you again in the pants. Like I love that. I love
Hmm.
that progression where like the game really teaches you everything. Like just
Yeah.
there's no like telling you. It's just like play and you
Yeah.
go and you learn. And like if you don't learn, you don't beat the game. Like it is a
Right.
hard game, bottom line. I
Hmm.
loved that so much. That's like one of my favorite styles of how to like a platformer. That's so
Yeah. That felt
Yeah.
really good. I like that
yeah,
too.
really, really a justice to platformers in my opinion.
For sure. Colin, we talked about the DLC earlier. Would
Yeah.
you be interested in playing the DLC and
Is
finishing
it
that?
out?
Yeah,
Like,
I'd definitely play that.
is
Yeah,
it out?
in fact, the end of
Or a
it was more
sequel?
like it kept me wanting more. Like, so I
Yeah.
guess like it succeeded,
Yeah,
and like maybe that's what its goal was to be
I
like.
agree.
And there's more to the story,
Hmm.
So like that's maybe the dissatisfaction I had at the end was like,
I
is there
totally agree that
more?
I wanted
And
more,
there
and I
is.
did like the side stuff, and I was like, it's not the same as the story, though.
Yeah.
I
So
really
I
wanted the
didn't even
story.
like care for that. I heard there's like a new game plus or something like that, or I don't know, something like that. I was just like, I
Let's
don't
see.
really
Hmm.
care for that. I want the story mixed with the gameplay. That those two elements really made this game. I don't think it
Right.
would be good one without the other. Like
Hmm.
they'd be something missing. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it only took me
Hmm.
like 6 hours to beat it, so it
Yeah,
So,
wasn't too
same.
bad.
what
Took me
would you
6.6 or
say
something.
like your overall impression rating would be on that game?
I give it like a 9, probably out of 10. I don't like to give perfect tens unless it's Thousand Year Door. But
Yeah, Thousand Year Door. I was just about to say, unless it's Paper Mario,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
or
mean, like nine
Zelda.
out of 10. Like it was an
Yeah.
incredible game. Like I highly
Yeah,
recommend it to anybody. I think it's a fun ride. It's one of those games. I don't know if I'll play it again,
Yeah.
but like it's one of those games that's just a good. It was a good game. It was a solid game, and I just really enjoyed it and had a great time playing it. And
Hmm.
I'm glad I
yeah,
got to do
Hmm.
it on stream in one
yeah.
go. So
Is it
But yeah,
worth paying full price for, or would you wait for a sale or skip it?
I might wait for a sale. It's a little
Yeah.
short, and sometimes I think about things in terms of how much time I'm going to
How
be
much
spending on
bang for
this.
your buck? Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I
exactly.
get
Like, and I
that.
get like
Yeah,
this is a very condensed, like no
Yeah.
fat kind of game, and like that's awesome. But like, I don't know. Sometimes you got to think about other elements that make a game
like how much
worth
time
it.
you want to spend on it. Like for $15, I'd rather play it for at least a week type of thing, and you
Yeah,
play it for like a day or two, and you're done. Like I get that the satisfaction isn't as long.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah, even though yeah, it is like watching. It's more like watching a movie. This
And that's hard
game.
to price, I'm
Yeah,
sure, on things like
yeah.
how do you price that, as a
It's like
game?
seeing a
So,
$15 movie, in my
but
opinion, but it's even twice as long as a movie would be. So
I mean, if
I
the game
say
looks awesome, go for it.
I personally do say it's worth it because it's one of those games I think that every like fan of retro games should play. Like if you're a fan of Cuphead and that vein of games and Contra and like all that, like I do think it's a fun game to play for that. And I do think it's worth the money just to say you played it, even if you do never play it again. And like we were saying, DLC is coming out, which is usually like $5 for a game that cheap. So like a $20 game overall, and let's say maybe it's 12 hours now. So I'd say it's worth it.
Hmm.
So that's just me.
I'm
So,
with you there. I think that the way it delivers the gameplay experience and the story,
yeah,
regardless of how short the game is, that it packages like a really awesome experience
yeah. If this
for
was
what they're
a
getting.
30 or
Yeah.
more dollar game, I would say no. I would say wait for a
Right. Yeah.
sale. Yeah, that's
Agreed.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
because of its size.
Well, I'm
But
glad
yeah,
you
so we all
enjoyed
played
that.
good games.